My name is Lizzie. Each week I'm bringing along a different origami fold, and that's to encourage you to take some time out for your self-care. This week I'm going to share with you a crown by popular demand. It's just something I was playing with and making. This one could be a little bit bigger, but it is quite cute. It's all just made through tucking and putting together. It's actually the same unit as I've made for making the flowers and the buds and the complete circle. So it's something quite simple, and then just playing around with how things can fit together. So I hope you're going to enjoy this. It's the same unit that's made the complete circle too. Just amazing. So the fold, it just keeps giving. So I will be encouraging you to just be playful, to be patient, and hey, you can use a glue stick or tape if you want to as well, because actually for a crown you want it to be fairly robust. This doesn't have any glue, but actually if you're to give this to a child, I would recommend that you definitely put in some glue in there as well. So quite a lot of people have asked me to show how to do this. So yes, as I said, I would use a glue stick just to be really secure. But you can try first of all otherwise. I have also managed to fold this inside bit in half, but it's quite tricky to do, and that makes it more secure. So if you're someone who really likes origami, wants a challenge, then that's something you can do. I just about got it to work, and it looks rather nice. So you can think of these crowns as being almost like little rings of petals or leaves. It's a nice thought. Be your own king or queen at home, however you feel. And I hope you're going to enjoy this. So we'll take our time. I have started one earlier as well, so I'm going to be adding to this because it'll take a little while to do it all. So this is ahead of using slightly bigger ones, which I think will make a good size crown. I'm part way there. I'm hoping in this video that I can get this completed and finished, but you do have to be quite patient, and it's always an interesting one filming it, because actually my concentration isn't quite as good on the folding as if I'm just alone doing it myself. So but I encourage you to be patient and playful and kind on yourself. That includes me on myself as well. So first of all, if you grab yourself a board or something to press on, table, and I'm going to make 4 little points to the crown. So I've got 2 pieces of A4 paper. I'm going to make 4 squares and show you how to fold each spike, and then we'll have a go at assembling it, and that's the more tricky bit. But you can do it. And as I said, you can always resort to a glue stick. That's fine. This is a practical one. So I'm just going to simply fold my A4 paper in half. So these films, they're all dedicated to my colleagues at UCLH hospital where I work. And I'd normally be there on the wards, encouraging patients and staff to take little breaks through being creative. And it was a patient who asked me to learn origami and pass it on. And I just found it such an amazing way of focusing the mind completely. And there's so much challenge to it, and I think it's about not giving up, encouraging yourself with a playful, gentle attitude. Again, folding it in half, which I think is always the best way to approach new things. So I hope this will help with your resilience and belief in yourself. So folding that in half. And a little nick. For me, origami is not so much actually about what it is that you're making, although I do be excited about it, but more about how it makes you feel. So I'm going to make a square. I'm going to take a corner, line it up at the bottom, and it's about giving yourself time out to do something. Just focus on completely forget everything else, and that's its power and its beauty. So we're going to get rid of this rectangle, turning it over, bring it back. Someone recently said they liked doing a session because they ended up with little pieces of paper for shopping lists or writing lists generally. So yes, I do have lots of little lists around on pieces of paper. Or maybe you can fold more with the little pieces that you get. So that's one list gone. One square, another square, corner, bring it down to the bottom, like so. There we go. removing the rectangle. So I'm just doing 4, but maybe if you were to do one for yourself, for full crown, maybe 10 pieces of paper would be best. So 5 A4, making 10 squares of paper. Okay, a little tiny neck. Tearing that off. There we go. Next one, corner. Lining it up. So I used to just use a guillotine, but I have to say I really like this method. Removing a rectangle, because you're just using your hands, and I like the simplicity, and actually the tear line's quite accurate and it reveals the structure of the paper. I like that, those little plant fibres that you can see, a bit of nature. And another square. There we go. Remove that rectangle, like so. Little tiny neck. Removing that. There we go. So hopefully, or maybe you've made 4 of these, this is good to get started. So we're going to take the outside and we're going to fold it to that middle line, to that diagonal line, which, as I said, is very similar to things we've been doing before. I've realised I gently shape the paper a little bit there, just so it doesn't tear. Maybe I think after a while you find yourself naturally doing ways depending on understanding how the paper works, I suppose, and forces. That line, bring it up to that middle line. Because we learn, and then sometimes we don't even realise what we've learned. Our brains are very clever. That's it. So as it is, turn it to the back, to the smooth side. And I'm going to take the top to bottom, fold it in half so that the points match. It looks like a boat. And then take the top and fold it down in the middle in half. And that really is your unit. There we go. And if you take it and just fold it inwards, folding it inwards, this always seems to bow a bit. You use your finger to just gently get rid of that and flatten it. There we go. So that is one little unit for your crown. So I've done 1, we'll do the 4, and then we'll see how to assemble it. So the outside, bring it to that main line. There we go. And then the bottom line, bring it up to that diagonal line as well. That's it. And again, turning it round to the smooth side, top to bottom in half. It looks like a boat. And then taking the top and bringing it down to the bottom. Like so. That's it. And again, folding it inwards. Having to shape that there. Nice sharp little point. There we go. Second one there. Same thing again. Outside to the middle line. Outside to the middle line so that they meet. Looks a bit like a kite. Turning it around to the smooth side, top to bottom, matching it up. It's like a little boat. And then top to the bottom. Hopefully you're getting the hang of it. Okay, pressing it down and folding it inwards. Pressing it in half. That's it. 3. 1 more. So the outside to the middle. Just enjoy that it gets kind of easier because you've done it before, and this is how we learn. Often for repetition, but it can also be rather relaxing too. Turning it to the back, and the top to the bottom, folding it like so. There we go. And again, taking the top to the bottom. Carving that little boat. Looks like a boat. There we go. And again inwards. That's it. Right. So I'm going to show you the principle with 2, and then I'm going to try to add on to the crown from before. It always takes a little bit of concentration, so here goes. Right. Just to explain first of all, well, maybe if we look at one of the crowns from earlier. So can you see each time one overlaps the next? So it's overlapping and overlapping, same direction. That's all you're doing. And inside this sort of interlock. So this bit at the back will tuck into the back here. Right, so this one's going to slot in, so it's crossing over so I can see what's happening in the back, but maybe if I show you the front first of all. So this one's going to push along until it gets to that point down there. So that's the point that you want from the front. Now what's going on at the back? So at the back, one has slotted into the other. So the one that's overlapping has slotted into there. And then if you look underneath, you could also do it so it's just going underneath there. That's it. So I'm afraid all these things are for you to sort of do and to feel and enjoy. That it will take a little bit of time, but you'll get there. I also then, can you see the line? Just go over that line, and it also just helps keep everything together. That's it. And you see there, again, I'm just going over that line, and it just keeps it all together. So that in itself will keep it together, you know, a reasonable bit. But if you had a child, maybe who was a little bit rough with it, then maybe you want to start, you could add a little bit of glue stick back there to stick things down. But maybe do it a little bit towards the end because actually things need to slot into each other. Right, let's see how to do this. So I've already got quite a bit of one, and I just need to add to it. It's going to have to go from, let me see. So, you can't see, can you? Here goes. So I have got a crown here. So this one's overlapping, so this one will need to overlap the next one. So this one will need to overlap. So like this one overlaps, this one needs to overlap. And at the same time, inside, I'm going to need to push this underneath there. So it needs to go into that little slot. So, to the right point. And you may also need to lift up and see what's going on there. But you can just use tape or glue and not be done with all this trying to get one into the other. I completely understand if you... But this is the basic principle. So from the front, you can see it's always going the same direction. So next one, this one needs to overlap the next one. So this, I need to think about it myself too. So this is slotting into the one behind, and Let me see what's going on. So this needs to go into that. Oh, I find it more complicated looking into a camera as well. So that's it. Yeah. This needs to go in behind it. But hopefully you will get the principle. Yeah, I'm going the other way around now, aren't I? I get very confused when I'm looking into the camera, but it's basically the same idea. Each time you're slotting it in, and you can eventually then end up joining it together where one will slot into the other. And again, that one will need to slot into the other. And you can either glue it or use glue stick or just use the tucking, which is what I'm doing. And hopefully you will end up with some kind of a crown. I may keep going with that. I think it still needs more prongs and you can decorate it. But I hope that's worked for you, and I hope you're finding it a kind of a fun thing to play with and just get the idea one slots into the next one. And I hope you can make a lovely crown of your own. Good luck with it. And if you're finding it a bit difficult, then you can just use glue stick and stick on those pieces. As you've seen, I have done some where I've done a whole rainbow colours like this, or I've even managed to fold that little strip inside in half, but it takes quite a bit of concentration, but it does bring it together quite nicely if you want a good origami challenge there. So I hope that's worked for you. I'd love to see your crowns, and feel free to share them. So on social media, on Twitter at Dr. Lizzie Burns, I've set up a Facebook group called Join the Fold Origami to Beat Boredom, and it certainly does that. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Thank you very much. Bye bye.